Mass spiritual awakening. See, if you're here right now, there's a reason this message found you when it did. December 17th wasn't loud. It didn't arrive with explosions or headlines or breaking news alerts. Nothing happened the way movies told us it would. And yet, something opened. Not in the sky, not on a screen, but inside perception itself. Over the last few days, many people have been feeling something they can't quite explain. A subtle pressure behind the eyes, a sense that time feels thinner, that conversations don't land the same way they used to, that silence has weight now. You may have noticed it yourself. Moments where your thoughts pause longer than usual, moments where the world feels strangely intimate, as if it's listening back. This isn't panic, this isn't fear, and this isn't imagination. For years, humanity has been conditioned to believe that awakening looks dramatic, that truth arrives with chaos, that knowing feels overwhelming. But real shifts don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly and rearrange how you interpret reality from the inside out. Something opened because enough people reached the same internal threshold at once. Not all of humanity, not even most, just enough. And when that happens, perception changes collectively. You may feel disconnected from things that once defined you. Not depressed, not lost, just uninterested. Your nervous system is recalibrating. When awareness expands, the old emotional hooks lose their grip. Drama feels hollow, noise feels exhausting, and truth feels closer than ever, even when you can't put it into words. This is what happens right before a mass shift becomes visible. First, it's felt, then it's recognized. Only later is it understood. And if you're watching this, it's because you felt it before you understood it. Here's what most people don't realize. A spiritual awakening doesn't make you feel high. It makes you feel neutral, clear, stripped of unnecessary weight. That's why so many people right now are questioning everything without actively questioning anything. You're not searching for answers. You're watching illusions dissolve on their own. That's the opening. December 17th marked a turning point because collective attention crossed a frequency threshold. When enough minds slow down at the same time, reality responds differently. Not externally, internally. This is why some people feel strangely emotional without knowing why. Why memories resurface uninvited. Why old versions of yourself feel distant, like they belonged to someone else. It's not loss, it's release. Humanity has spent centuries believing separation was real, believing we were alone in consciousness, alone in awareness, alone in meaning. But what opened wasn't a door to something new. It was a remembering of something ancient. You're not suddenly connected. You always were. What's different now is that the mental noise is thinning enough for you to notice it. This is why intuition feels sharper, why coincidences feel deliberate, why timing feels intentional. And this is also why some people feel uncomfortable, because awakening doesn't ask for permission. It removes what can no longer stay. The mind wants certainty. Awareness wants truth. And truth doesn't shout. It resonates. You don't need to label this as spiritual, cosmic, scientific, or psychological. Labels come later. Right now, the only thing that matters is noticing what's changed in how you observe the world. Because once perception shifts, it never fully returns to what it was. There's a reason this feels personal. Awakening doesn't happen to humanity. It happens through individuals who are ready to carry it. And readiness doesn't mean perfection. It means exhaustion with illusions. It means you've reached the point where pretending no longer works. That's why so many people feel like they're standing between two versions of themselves, not moving forward, not going back, just hovering. This is the integration phase, the moment after the opening, but before the realization fully settles. You may feel like you don't belong anywhere right now. That's because you're no longer meant to fit inside old frameworks. This isn't about believing something new, it's about unlearning what was never true. We are not alone, not because something arrived, but because we were never separate to begin with. Consciousness is shared, awareness is collective, and individuality is a lens, not a prison. What opened on December 17th was the permission to feel that truth without fear. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be forced. Just notice who you are becoming when you stop trying to be who you were. If this resonated with you, don't rush to explain it. Sit with it. Let it breathe. And if you felt something shift while listening, you're not alone. You never were. If you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe for daily cosmic insights, astrology updates, and spiritual guidance, because the universe always has a message for you. There's something else happening that many people are afraid to say out loud. You're becoming harder to manipulate, not because you're resisting anything, but because fewer things can reach you emotionally the way they used to. News feels repetitive. Outrage feels staged. Arguments feel circular. You may still care, but you no longer attach your identity to the outcome. That's a sign the opening worked. When awareness expands, external narratives lose their authority. Not all at once, but gradually enough that one day you realize you stopped reacting before you stopped believing. This is why some relationships feel distant now. Not broken, just misaligned. You're not outgrowing people. You're exiting unconscious agreements. And here's the part no one warns you about. Awakening can feel lonely before it feels free. Because when you stop living on autopilot, you notice how many others still are. That doesn't make you superior. It makes you responsible. Responsible for how you speak, how you listen, how you hold space without forcing others to see what you see. This phase teaches restraint, silence, presence. The opening didn't give you answers, it gave you discernment. You may have noticed your sleep changing, not worse, just different. Dreams feel more vivid or completely absent. Time inside sleep feels distorted. That's because the subconscious is reorganizing. When a collective shift occurs, the mind needs time to reconcile identity with awareness. Old symbols dissolve. New ones haven't fully formed yet, so the mind rests in the in-between. This is also why creativity feels strange right now. You want to express something, but language feels insufficient. That's because this shift isn't conceptual, it's perceptual. You're learning to feel truth before you articulate it, and that's uncomfortable for a world built on explanation. Be patient with this phase. Nothing is wrong if you feel neutral. Nothing is missing if excitement feels quieter. Stillness isn't emptiness, it's capacity. The more space you feel inside yourself, the more you're able to hold what's coming next. Let's talk about fear, because this is where many people misunderstand what's happening. If you've felt moments of unease lately, it doesn't mean something bad is coming. It means the mind is losing its grip on familiar reference points. The ego thrives on predictability. Awareness thrives on truth. When old structures dissolve, the ego calls it danger, but awareness calls it clarity. That's why fear and calm can coexist right now. You're not anxious, you're adjusting. Think of it like stepping into a darker room where your eyes haven't adjusted yet. Nothing in the room changed, Only your perception did. Soon, you'll see more than you did before. And when that happens, you won't want to go back. This is why the opening couldn't be dramatic. Drama would have triggered resistance. Subtlety allowed acceptance. The most profound changes always arrive quietly. Here's something important. Not everyone will experience this opening consciously. Some will feel irritated. Some will feel tired. Some will feel compelled to distract themselves even more. That doesn't mean they're behind. Awakening respects timing. But those who do feel it, those who sense the shift without needing proof, are here to stabilize it. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to teach anything. Your presence does the work. Calm nervous systems regulate others. Clarity disrupts confusion without confrontation. That's why simply being grounded feels like an act of rebellion now. You're not meant to escape the world. You're meant to see it clearly while still standing in it. That balance is rare. And that's why this moment matters. This isn't the end of something. It's the quiet beginning of a longer unfolding. What opened on December 17th won't close, because it wasn't external. It was permission. Permission to stop pretending. Permission to feel without labeling. Permission to trust what you sense, even when it doesn't fit language. You don't need to mark this day. You'll recognize it later by who you became afterward. Pay attention to what no longer holds your attention. Pay attention to what feels honest now. And most importantly, pay attention to the peace that shows up for no obvious reason. That's how you know this was real. If this message resonated, let it settle. No urgency, no rush. Awareness doesn't need speed, it needs space. And now, you have it.